As a content creator on YouTube, I've spent most of my efforts on covering Elite Dangerous over the past few years. While Elite Dangerous has been the primary workhorse for my channel, I've recently had some mild success covering EVE Online instead. Needless to say, while covering both games, interactions with each community is inevitable, and it got me thinking, which community is more toxic based on my interactions? Toxicity in games is a widely debated topic, and while some might disagree with me, remember, I'm only speaking from my own experience as a content creator. I'm sure I will piss some of you off as well, and well, that's par for the course when attempting to speak on many issues these days. So, remember, this is just my personal opinion. Also, a definition of terms is required here. When I speak of toxicity, I'm not talking about which game you're likely to be blown up in by another player. Both games have that mechanic. No, what I'm talking about is each community's response to what they perceive to be incorrect info that they might find on a content creator's video. Let me also say that my interactions by no means represents all interactions. In other words, I don't mean to paint with a broad brush here, but I do feel I have experience enough to speak authoritatively on the subject. Let's start with Elite Dangerous. I picked up Elite Dangerous about 2 or 3 months into making my gaming channel. Up until then, I hadn't had any success on my channel, and I was getting views in the low 20s until I did my first Elite Dangerous tutorial, and then boom, my channel exploded. I quickly honed in on Elite and further focused on doing mostly build videos, and since then, it became the bread and butter of the Tryhard Gamer channel. I was absolutely overjoyed, but I did notice some oddities. The more and more my channel grew, the more and more I was getting hate mail. This hate mail was from people who felt I was playing the game wrong. I was either building my Elite Dangerous ships wrong, or I was flying my ships wrong, or I had a bad ass. I could do nothing right, and it became clear more and more to me that there was a difference between constructive criticism and outright trolling. This came from the Elite Dangerous community. LOL, you seem to be a real noob. That build is really bad and won't survive long. This is no bounty hunter, it will die in an ambush of 7 ships. But let me break it simply using my 2,600 hours of experience. Now this came from the EVE Online community. Nice introduction, though there are a couple small inaccuracies. Understandable as you haven't played long, and low sec, Concord won't come to your aid. The only assistance are from gate guns or station guns if you get attacked in the vicinity of either of those. In nullsec, there is no Concord at all. It's the wild, wild west and anything goes. You didn't mention wormholes, areas which can provide great rewards, but great risk. 2 things to remember when playing EVE. Only fly what you can afford to lose, and if you are trying to make ISK, generally, the greater reward, the greater risk. Now, do you see the difference between the 2 comments, right? One is extremely disrespectful. The second is very constructive, and the dude corrected me, right? I'm looking for the second one. That's the one I'm going to pay attention to. See, the problem is that a lot of people think that in order to get someone to hear you, you have to be a complete ass, right? The first comment's not going to make me want to hear that guy. I'm just going to want to shut my ears off, right? I'm going to be like, okay, whatever, another hate mail. The second guy, I'm definitely going to want to listen to. I'm going to want to listen to him because he sounds knowledgeable about it. Not only that, he's respectful, and it seems like he generally cares about wanting new players to play the game. Now this, by no stretch of the imagination, means that all people who play Elite are like this, but I have to say, if I put a number on my interactions, it would be about 70-30. About 70% of my interactions have been like this. The glaring elephant in the room at this point is the question, well, maybe you're wrong about the info that you put up on your channel, right? And that might be true. But remember, that is irrelevant. I'm not bashing on being corrected. I want constructive criticism, not disrespectful criticism. Those 2 things are not the same thing. Now let's take a look at the EVE Online community. From the start, the game itself thrusts you into a massive world with an even steeper learning curve than Elite Dangerous. However, there is one simple but effective mechanic that exists in the game that lets players know, hey, we know it's big, but we're here to help, and that is rookie chat. The game is crafted with new players in mind, and I think because of that, it reminds veterans that they were once rookies as well. At a moment's notice, you can type in rookie chat for help and someone will come to your aid. Not only that, but I get the impression that EVE has a lot of older players in it, given its age, which would explain why the player base seems to be more mature. That does not mean you won't be subject to destruction by other players. Believe me, you will. However, my interactions with the community seem to be far more positive than Elite Dangerous's community. So what should you take from this? Am I saying that Elite Dangerous is a bad game? No, not at all. Am I saying that you shouldn't play it? No, not at all. But what I am saying is that it's been my experience that Elite Dangerous's community seems to be much more, well, elitist, pun intended, and not friendly to new players. Well, that's all, folks. I'm sure some of you in the Elite Dangerous community will undoubtedly fight me on this, but to that I have to say, what else is new?